Hello there.
Well, welcome to Your In Depth, where we walk through and break down our favorite fictional universes. Today, we're covering Chapter 4 of the Book of Boba Fett. As usual, I'm Jacob, here joined by Evan. That's your cue. How you doing? What?
I got a lot of cable here.
Cable? Oh, right. Yeah, your XLR is like freaking 25 feet long, and you only got it 3 feet from the audio interface.
Bro,
Anyway.
I got this thing like 6 inches from the audio interface.
Nice. Well, Chapter 4 is this show's picking up. And it's
before
going
you start.
I'm not ready to start yet. I was just prefacing the news by saying how excited I am to be getting into this.
Gotcha.
But no, I'm excited to get into this. Anyway, yeah, Star Wars news.
So I
don't know
actually
if you
saw
have
something.
seen any. You did.
Yeah,
Why
I
don't
did see something.
I will say, so I've actually got four things. I've got four things to mention. How about I do the first one? You say it. You say yours. Unless you want to just sandwich it in between my four. Let's just do that. So the first one I will say, I'm going to preface, like, kind of disclaim this as rumor. Because I don't have a subscription to Production Weekly, which is the magazine, periodical, whatever it is, that this was listed in. But I did see a couple different sources being like a screenshot of it. I want to verify things before I say that they're, for sure the case. So I'm just going to say this is rumor. But apparently, according to Production Weekly, Ahsoka will start filming this month in LA. It lists as the cast, Rosario Dawson, obviously, as we've already seen in Mandalorian. It also credits Hayden Christensen.
Ooh.
So this was just this week.
Flashback.
This starts production.
Flashback.
But I will say that it's rumor because I can't verify it because I don't want to pay the extraordinary amount that is required to have a subscription to that.
Yeah.
It's not exactly cheap. The other thing, though, I do have a subscription for is Star Wars Insider. Now, there's a section, it's called the production diary, where it says what's in production, what's coming soon. And under that, it listed as coming soon, The Bad Batch Season 2, and it gave the date of spring of 2022. So that's just a couple of months from now. So saw that. But what do you got?
I saw an article, and I'm gonna put this as rumor as well because I didn't see anything else on it.
Okay.
But in said article, it was talking about a new trilogy that was going to start production soon. That is actually it's not like a replacement for the sequel trilogy. It's not in like even the same time period. And I want to say it's actually after like the Skywalker arc. But I could be wrong on that. But it was talking about a potential new trilogy that has like nothing to do with the Skywalkers. And something really we won't see any, or won't even have a chance of seeing like any characters that we've seen already.
There's something completely new, but in Star Wars.
Something completely new because it was referencing the Star Wars Visions, little short clips and stuff they have on Disney Plus. And I guess those actually got pretty good reactions from a lot of fans, showing that, we don't need to see Skywalkers and whatnot to enjoy Star Wars.
Interesting.
So.
Well, the other two things I have, one of which is more of like a rumor for how the Book of Boba Fett may go, and the other, I'll just say the other first because then ending the news with something regarding Book of Boba Fett kind of just seems fitting because it transitions better. today is January 20th. There was a gameplay trailer released for Lego Star Wars: The Skywalker Saga, and I watched it. Looks really cool. A lot of the mechanics look pretty dope. But it did give a release date of April 5th. So
Of this year?
Yes, I believe so.
Well, because originally it was supposed to come out December 31st of 2021.
Yeah, they delayed it a little bit, but they said April 5th now. So, yeah, I'm excited for that. I love Lego, and I love Lego Star Wars. But saw that. The last thing, which I thought was really kind of interesting, and it kind of like, it's more of a thing that spawns what if, and see how things are going to go. But there was a promo with Tamara Morrison and Ming-Na Wen, where they played a game or quiz. And I told you a little bit about it, but I didn't tell you the key part of it. They were just doing this playful kind of promo for the Book of Boba Fett, where they took a quiz online as to what villain in Star Wars they were. And in it, one of the things was, if you had a pet, or if you had to travel across the galaxy to retrieve a pet, which pet would you choose? And it was like one of those little porgs or whatever they're called. There was an Ewok. There was a couple other things. And Tamara made the comment, he was like, I would choose Ewok. I like those Ewoks. They were great to work with. They were very funny. Now, he's so far not been around Ewoks in Star Wars. Right? Boba Fett hasn't been in the old trilogy.
What about the Christmas special? That was animated, right?
That was animated, and I don't recall there being any Ewoks.
Okay.
So somewhere, maybe he misspoke. A lot of people were theorizing, they're like, maybe he just meant Jawas. You know, I mean, they're kind of similar in a way. But like, I don't know. He kind of knows what he's talking about. He's not like as in depth to Star Wars, but like,
well, because even when they were, doing the original trilogy, Tamara Morrison wasn't part of Star Wars with that.
And right. But I'm thinking,
so like even if like the actor
canon-wise,
that was even if the actor that was in the Boba Fett suit for Return of the Jedi, that's still not Tamara Morrison.
No, it wouldn't be him. I'm just saying, like, even maybe if we have more flashbacks or something, it could tie in. But even then, I don't see it as occurring. So I think we may be seeing some Ewoks in the Book of Boba Fett. Another theory was that there was a lot of theories. One of them was that he's going to travel to Endor to recruit some people for his little war going on. And who's on Endor? Han, Luke, maybe. Or what are you laughing about?
I'm just imagining you see those Pike Syndicate come running through the streets of Mos Espa, and then it pans over and you see Boba Fett, and he takes his gaffy stick, is like, charge! And you see all these little Ewoks come scurrying out of all the alleys and whatnot. Just charging at the Pikes.
That would be insanely entertaining. I would love that.
Somehow the Ewoks have set up them log traps that you see in
oh my gosh.
Return of the Jedi. Oh my god, that would be amazing.
That would be amazing. But there were some other theories. Obviously there was that. Some were thinking that maybe in a different show, maybe Ahsoka, maybe who knows what, but maybe he played Rex, in another show, but not Book of Boba Fett. It's just kind of a lot of what ifs, but he did say that, which raises some questions.
The only one as of right now that's out and whatnot that I could see us seeing him interacting with Ewoks would be somehow, some way in The Mandalorian. In that show, it's more traveling to different planets, doing different things.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe Mando for season 3 goes, "Yo, Boba, need your help with these freaking little baby bears."
Yeah, little teddy bears. We going to build a bear workshop. Pack your stuff.
And
no, but I mean, like the one theory was in the Ahsoka series, but that hasn't even started filming yet. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Mando goes, "Pack your stuff. We're going to build a bear." And it goes to Boba, and he throws his rifle in the air, shoves Fennec out the way. "Let's go!"
Just runs and gets on them. Oh yeah. Anyway, though,
goes to push a charcoal Chewie, doesn't move, goes around.
But anyway, who knows exactly what that meant. He probably just misspoke. But at the same time, if he did, what did he mean? I don't know. It was just kind of interesting because it was like I was watching that and I'm like, wait a minute. That doesn't make sense.
Well, the only common denominator between Ewoks and Jawas is they're both small.
Yeah, I mean, that's really it.
Whenever we see Jawas, they're all fully cloaked. Whenever we see Ewoks, they're wearing loincloths.
Yeah.
Ewoks are covered in fur. Jawas have their cloaks on. Ewoks use Stone Age tools. Jawas use modern technology for the Star Wars universe.
Yeah, no, but like Favreau and them, they kind of cue Boba in on like they cue Tamara in on different like key elements of lore. So he's not exactly like a super Star Wars nerd necessarily, from my understanding. So it's easy enough, I suppose, for terms and stuff for him to, and like maybe he would get them confused. But at the same time, I don't know.
Yeah, but also for pets though, like Jawas aren't pets.
And well, right.
And I mean, so technically Ewoks are not either, but Ewoks would look more like a pet than a Jawa would.
Yeah. I don't know.
Like I could totally see Boba just walking down the streets of Mos Espa with an Ewok, or with an Ewok on a leash,
or that.
He's like, "Come on, doggo, come on! Hey, get away from the trash! Come on!"
Okay.
Well, the other thing was some other guy. He's like, "Sick him!" And then the Ewok just goes, "What to?"
The other thing was that Ming or Ming Na, I don't know exactly Chinese structure of names, or
anyways, Fennec Shan.
Fennec. Didn't correct him. She almost was kind of like, "Oh yeah, I know what you're talking about." And she's a Star Wars nerd, so I don't know. Who knows how things go? But the last thing I'll say about that is because we stayed on it way too long just talking about it. I think it was funny because Tamara's quiz resulted that his villain that he would be in Star Wars was Fennec. And Ming or Ming Na, whatever. She was over there and he was like, "Mine says it's Fennec Shand," and he like lists all the qualities on why. And she's just like, "Oh, shut up." She's like, "No, what did it say? What did it?" And he's like, "No, I'm being serious." And he shows her the camera or the phone, and she's just like, "Wait, what?" And like just starts dying laughing. But no, it was a very entertaining thing to watch. But either way, I think we should get into the episode.
Yeah, this is a longer one.
It has, and it will be. We've already been recording for a little while.
No, the episode is a longer episode.
I was going to say, and yes, it's also a longer episode. So anyway, we open up this episode like really any other one with Boba being in the back to tank. We see some flashbacks of him roaming the Dune Sea on his bantha. We do see a skeleton of, I believe, another bantha as he's roaming. He then approaches Jabba's palace and scopes it out. He sees a lot of guards, 2 Gamorreans, some of Hondo's species, whatever those are. I can't think of the name of them. and some other type. I think the type that the Kenton Striders are, or whatever they're called, riders, Kenton something, whatever. But he tells his bantha, not today, there's too many guards. We then cut to him eating at a campfire. He feeds his bantha a bit. He then hears a distant explosion, and we see a flare in the sky. Anybody who's drawing the connection and seeing this, you're like, oh, wait a minute. It's like that Leonardo DiCaprio meme.
Yeah.
Like where he's like, but he takes notice of it, and we see another one, and this time as it explodes, we hear a little bit of that Mandalorian theme. Just that kind of like Western kind of,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but we hear that. So if you do remember back in The Mandalorian in the episode Gunslinger, where they're firing off the flares to blind Fennec to avoid being sniped, it's like that's what's going on there. So this is right in line with that episode. So literally Mando's right over there. But this is also the episode we see Fennec left for dead and some mysterious figure approach her. We do see that Boba was indeed this, which a lot of people already kind of thought, because Boba always kind of, especially in the old trilogy, when he walked, you would hear like spurs. This was an intentional kind of like space cowboy effect.
Yeah.
And when that character approached her, when you didn't see who it was, but you heard the or whatever of the spurs, which how he did that, I don't know, because he didn't have his armor, but whatever. But he approaches the lifeless, critically injured Fennec, assesses her, picks her up, and then we get the title card. Now,
yeah,
I kind of drew the connection.
One point,
yeah, go for it.
This was one point, because you and I had talked a little bit earlier in the day,
mm-hmm.
where you had said some people, and I think you were kind of a similar mindset, at least at that point, where events kind of didn't add up in terms of timeline wise.
Yeah.
Because if people remember last episode, there was kind of that Easter egg to Pell.
So yeah, my issue was one of the videos that I watched said that it was here, and he's like, now if you remember in last episode, we saw Pelly walking along, and she was on her way to go meet Mando in the hangar bay or whatever during the episode Gunslinger. And it was that I didn't really think lined up, just because of the span between when he saw her last episode, when we saw her, Boba was getting ready to talk to the one of the head people of the Pike Syndicate, and then after that he rode out. He traveled for a while, found the village to be destroyed, burned the bodies, went all the way to Jabba's palace. It's like there's a lot of moving around on a bantha, to where I was like, I just don't know if I guess my main issue was, I don't think she was heading to meet Mando when we saw her in the Book of Boba Fett. Like, that's such a small detail, but I just don't really know if it lines up to be that degree. Obviously, everything else is like same timeline and stuff.
Yeah, well, but I mean, with that though too, there's kind of a couple things you got to keep in mind. Number one, Tatooine has 2 suns, so the length of day could easily vary, depending on like the time of year and whatnot.
Right.
Another thing is,
I wasn't
if we
thinking
remember
of how many
before Mando and that other wannabe bounty hunter back in that episode of the Gunslinger, before they leave to go hunt down Fennec Shan, Mando stops at Pel's place to leave the child with her while they go and do this. And then it shows Mando and that other bounty hunter traveling via speeder bike for quite a bit of time. It is like a time pass of different views of them going. So it doesn't tell us how many days have passed. It doesn't tell us how much time has passed.
But it's assumed that it's fairly I guess I got the impression from the Book of Boba Fett that he was traveling for a good while.
Well, and in the Book of Boba Fett too, right? Like when he's riding the Bantha after he's talked with the Pikes and he's heading back to the Tusken Raider camp. We don't know how far that is. You know, for all we know, they stayed in the same spot for a couple nights. That way he could get back to them. Or even just one night. We don't know really how far it is from Mos Espa. And so, like, I guess my only thing is, like, if you want to kind of sit there and be like, you know, it's not lining up perfectly because time period this time. Just kind of got to remember, we don't really have a set time period for how the events happen.
And it's so minor. He said that and I was like, I don't know if she's heading right then to go see Mando though.
Yeah.
Like, obviously it's her and that's whatever. Like, I think that's fun enough.
Yeah. And even too, when Boba sees the flares go up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Quite a bit of time. I mean, you can tell from how far away the flares are that he's a good ways away. And in the Gunslinger episode of Mando, after they catch Fennec, the other dude stays with her while Mando goes and gets some rides. So that would give him time. Like, it wasn't like they caught her and then he left and then bam, she died, quote unquote, right?
Yeah. I mean,
it's like
there's
they
a lot
caught
of
her.
time. There's a lot of jumping around. And it's kind of hard to properly.
Like Mando and the other dude caught Fennec.
Stuff up.
They're sitting there trying to figure out what they're going to do because one of the speeder bikes gets destroyed. Mando then decides to leave, go get another ride, come back. And then once he gets back, other dude is gone. Fennec's laying on the ground dead, quote unquote dead. And like, you know, like he would have had to travel a good ways to go get another mount because he went and grabbed one of those lizard things that we saw earlier in that episode, like as it did the kind of fast forward time span, like seeing him and the other dude riding on their speeder bikes and whatnot. So that would give Boba Fett plenty of time to get over there with his Bantha.
Yeah, you're probably right. But I also noticed here, and I started thinking about it, you know, in our flashbacks of him being with the Tuskens, I mean, obviously some time has passed, but we kind of get this feeling that, I don't know, maybe a couple months here and there. But like, I started thinking about it, and time frame wise, from the point that Boba Fett had fallen into the Sarlacc until the events we see here dating it at the Mandalorian, this is like confirmed, this is where it takes place. He was with them for a couple of years. Return of the Jedi.
He would have had to be with them for at least 4.5 years.
Well,
he would have had to be with the Tuskens for roughly 4 years.
Yeah, because Return of the Jedi takes place at 4 ABY. And again, if you guys don't remember what that is, it's after the Battle of Yavin, just the dating system in Star Wars.
And for those that are confused on that, that's when the first Death Star goes boom.
Yes. Return of the Jedi takes place at 4 ABY. The Mandalorian, Chapter 5, takes place at 9 ABY. So there's 5 years. Obviously, there was some time of him being in the Sarlacc, but he wasn't paralyzed, so it's not like he was sitting in there for a while.
I was saying it couldn't have been that long because he needed oxygen, and we saw him take that tube from that dead stormtrooper in there.
Right,
so
exactly.
I mean, maybe a day or two if his suit had a little oxygen tank or something built in, you know?
Right. On top of that, too, right, yeah, he wouldn't have been in there more than, I would say, a week.
Yeah,
probably not even that long. Yeah. But on top of that, Cobb Vanth mentions in that Mandalorian episode, The Marshal, that he got Boba's armor off of the Jawas shortly after the Battle of Endor. He kind of throws that in there. So just timeline-wise, he wasn't in the, like, from the point that, because Boba fell into the pit, got his way out, fell down, the Jawas stole his armor. So he was already out.
Yeah.
He was already out when Cobb got it. So it's like, we can, confirm that at least. Then he was taken in by the Tuskens and with them for a while. Of course, most of them got slaughtered. I honestly think that warrior lady's still alive. I don't think that was her. I'm holding on to that, and I believe that. But he was alone in the desert after that for a little bit before finding Fennec, but really not that long. So no matter how much you no matter how you divide that, it's at least 3 or 4 years.
Yeah,
that he's
I mean,
with these
I could
Tuskens.
see him being in the desert for a while.
Yeah.
Like kind of sticking to the Tuscan way of living because he's lived it for a while,
Mhm.
and then finally coming to the conclusion, I'm gonna make something of myself. I'm gonna take over. I'm gonna take Jabba's place essentially, and I'm gonna
Right.
do something about this. But I could definitely see him kind of spending some time in the desert after the Tuscans are killed, and just kind of, I don't know, mourning or mulling it over in his head or whatever else.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, yeah, so we had the title card. Now, following the exact events of the episode, we see the title card. We're given the episode name, which is The Gathering Storm. We see Boba riding his bantha. He has Fennec just limp on the side of it, and he's riding. And he approaches this little outpost type area where there's a bunch of mods, the biker gang type of people, in the last episodes.
And if I'm not mistaken, this is actually because it's not in Mos Espa, because you can see it's pretty
it's
bare
not
around, but I think it's on like the outskirts of.
Yeah, it seems to be at least close by to the normal stuff. But he rides up and he enters into this parlor type area where someone is making adjustments to a customer. And Boba sets Fennec on a table. Also, I saw something on Facebook. Again, I'm trying my best before mentioning it in the podcast to verify it. I believe this one to be true, but I could not see the person credited, so I could not truly confirm it. But at 7:05 in the episode, we see a character that is part of this mod group, and apparently this is Ming-Na Wen's son, Cooper. Apparently he's in it, and just kind of plays a little extra.
I saw something about that too, and it was a news art like an article thing, and it was confirmed that her son was just kind of a background,
an
extra for this episode.
I combed over the credits trying to see a name, trying to truly confirm it, but multiple sources I did see report that. I just again try to verify it myself.
Because the one I was reading too, like the news article thing, because her son doesn't share the same last name,
right?
As her,
right? Because she didn't. Right, he has her husband's last name, whatever that is. But yeah. But anyway, I saw that. That was kind of cool. Also, this mod doctor that we see, I thought this was kind of a funny and cool thing because this is played by Steven Bruner, who is also known as Thundercat, a musician. He was he was the bassist for the band Suicidal Tendencies, continues music on his own albums and stuff. But the funny thing is here, he's acting as that character, but as we walk in, as Boba walks in, we hear this bass line playing, like this kind of like just this music. Yeah. It's his. It's stuff that he's done. Yeah.
Did you notice on him though, because he does have modifications to himself. He's got a B2 battle droid hand.
Yeah, I noticed. So
in other words, it's
Super Battle Droid.
Yeah, yeah. Although I don't think
that's what most people would commonly probably know it as. But
see, the Super Battle Droids aren't B2 battle droids though.
Okay.
I don't think, because the B1 battle droids are the ones that we see in Episode 1, The Phantom Menace, with they fight the Gungans and they're controlled by the ship, and when that gets destroyed, they shut down. Yeah, that's B2,
B1.
Yeah, the B2 battle droids are an upgrade of that version, where they're not solely dependent on a control ship, if I'm not mistaken.
So I thought that it was. So maybe it is one of them. I was thinking it was like one of the droids that we see in Mando's flashbacks. Like it was one of those. Because it was more wide.
Okay, so I just double checked it. So Yeah, the B2 is a super battle droid. The one that I'm thinking of has it's still a B1 where it's not controlled by like the control ship. It's still a B1,
Right.
but it has a little extra to
Okay.
it as like a
Okay.
modification number or whatever. Yeah, sorry. So yeah, it
Gotcha.
is the B2 super battle droid that he's got one of their hands
Yeah, but
as
he's
like
got-
a
yeah,
modification to himself. Yeah.
Got one of their hands. It was
Yeah.
yeah, that was cool. But Boba says that Fennec needs modifications. He says they don't take walk-ins. Boba drops a big old bag of credits, and the mod doctor, he turns around and he's like, well, you should have started with that. Like, all right, yeah. And he then gets to work in a very entertaining
Yeah.
montage of operations. It was really cool. But
And so looking now too, it's
Yeah.
not just the B2 hand, it's a full B2. Or no, it's a B2 hand, and then he has other robotics all the way up to his elbow.
right, he's got more
which is
robotics.
not B2, yeah. But because he can, it's cool because you see him kind of twist and take off the B2 hand and put on some tool, like a tool attachment
Right.
to it. And
Here's something that I found neat too that somebody commented on in one of their breakdowns of it. The other attachments that he switches to are the same tools that you find in a Mr. Handy in the Fallout games. Like there's a little like
a little
blowtorch.
saw,
There's a
and it's
little.
got a little blowtorch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
It was the same ones that you see as like those little droids, like Codsworth or whatever from Fallout
Yeah.
4. I don't know. I think that's cool, and if that is intentional, that's awesome.
Yeah.
But I don't know. But
Yeah,
he
and
fixes
so
her up,
he's-
says
Yeah,
it's
making
done.
modifications to the stomach, like we saw. She had those modifications in Mandalorian.
Mhm.
And I understand why Boba took her here, needed somewhere quick to save her life.
Mhm.
It still kind of strikes me as odd, though, that he would be like, yeah, I'm going to make her a cyborg instead of I'm going to go find a doctor.
Yeah,
Like, I
But, I
guess
mean, he
time was of the
probably-
essence at that point, so we just went to whatever was closest. Like, I get that as well. I just kind
I
of
think
struck me
that's
as
probably it. Because especially if these are on the outskirts of Mos Espa,
odd. Yeah.
it's like might be pretty far still. And he's on a bantha. It's not like they run.
And I mean, it is Tatooine, so, like, how reliable are the doctors?
Yeah, yeah. But anyway,
I'm sure there's
Boba-
no doctors in the Star Wars universe that are like, man, I've been doing this for 30 years. I know what I'm doing. I'm so great at it. I'm going to move to Tatooine.
yeah, most of them are probably on Coruscant or someplace else. Yeah.
Coruscant or like Naboo or
Mm-hmm.
like even like Megiddo, although we
Yeah.
only see that one in Revenge of the Sith, like, but Megiddo was like a very prosperous, like place and whatnot
Yeah.
before the Clone Wars and all that. But yeah, it's like, I'm sure there's not a doctor that's like, I know what I'm doing. I make a lot of good money. Let's go make money on Tatooine as a doctor.
Yeah. Yeah, next time I'm going to go over to Dagobah and be a merchant. It's like, it's just, yeah.
Yeah.
But
After-
Boba asks about, go ahead, you're going to make another joke.
After that, I'm going to go to Kashyyyk and be a hunter.
Yeah. Yeah.
Probably not the best career choice on said planets.
No. Boba asks him about sealing her up, though. And the mod doctor, he just goes, oh, and cover up all that beautiful machinery? Like, no, man, you got to have that on display. Kind of like they all do. I also did find this cool. I didn't realize this, but I ended up researching it, and I'm like, holy crap, yeah, that makes sense. This group of people, the mods, or whatever, that's what they're referred to as, it makes a ton more sense because obviously in this case, mods mean like modifications. But mod or mods was a subculture in the 1950s and 60s, beginning in London. They dressed a similar way as we see the street gang dress, and the scooters that they wore had a ton of different like headlights on them, just like a ton, kind of like we see these guys' bikes have a bunch of mirrors. So it's kind of a
like
reference to that.
Yeah, they took that and based this group off of.
Yeah,
That's
so it's kind of
cool,
But yeah, it was just kind of like it was a subculture of the past, and they're kind of like, let's bring that into Star Wars and give it a twist. So that's kind of cool. But we cut to another campfire. Boba and Fennec sit there, and Fennec is just now waking up. She's kind of grunting around, obviously in some discomfort, maybe pain. I mean, having a bunch of machinery in your stomach now is probably a hefty adjustment.
I mean, you have to imagine too, where the modifications were made. They probably like took out some internal organs and whatnot, and replaced
they probably
them.
had to remove some stuff.
Because like when you see him doing the modifications, he there's some tubes in there, and you see some sort of liquid going through those tubes. Like he rerouted her digestive system or whatever else with said tubes, and probably removed a lot of that stuff. I would just assume that a lot of it was damaged from her getting shot.
Yeah.
But
she asks what happened. Boba gives her a black melon. And he just kind of gives her a rundown of what happened. He tells her to drink the black melon as it will help her. He says it takes some getting used to, but in time you'll start to crave it. And I've seen it compared to like a coconut milk type of deal. I feel like it's probably that.
So just real quick, that mod parlor that he took her to, outskirts of Mos Eisley, not Espa.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
But they talk a little bit, kind of get their introductions made. He knows who she is. He introduces himself as Boba Fett. She says that Boba Fett's dead. He's like, no, I was dead, left for dead, you know? He gives his backstory a little bit, and really just being what we've seen so far. He seems to blame himself for the Tuscans' death. He mentions he mentions the Kenton Striders, right? That's the name of them. It's Striders. He names a biker gang, basically. Kind of people. He says they killed the Tuscans, and she comments, she's like, speeder bikes taking out Tuscans? It's highly unlikely. Again, with another theory, and I think you and I have talked about this. I know my wife mentioned it when we first saw the village massacred and the Striders, the like thing painted. I'm leaning towards it might have been the Pikes, and then just trying to blame it on the others.
Yeah, that was my theory from last episode. That's what I was thinking was going on. Because I mean, for all we know, really, that biker gang, right? They could be actually in the employment of the Pikes, and it's just kind of a cover, so they don't have to pay any sort of protection fees or anything like that. You know, like the Pike Syndicate is a very large criminal syndicate that I could definitely see that being something they would do. Where instead of, you know, maybe instead of paying them protection money, they pay them to, like, they just employ them in general. Instead of just paying tribute, they actually are in the employ of.
Yeah. But Boba asks for her help retrieving his ship. And Boba refers to his ship, by the way, and I want to comment here because last episode I was wrong. He refers to his ship as Fire Spray. This is the model of the ship, and I'm just realizing this now. It wasn't his suggested name.
Yeah, because he says my Fire Spray gunship.
Right. It's not exactly... I mean, you can refer to the ship as Fire Spray. Like, I mean, it could be its name, similar to Razor Crest and Mandalorian, but it's not like a unique name to it like Slave One has become. Yeah. We don't know what they're going to refer to it as, because apparently they're not doing Slave One, but Fire Spray is the model.
And I had seen a thing on that as well, an article, and it was talking about it with the whole, you know, Slave One, changing the name, all that. And basically it was saying, like, you know, the Boba Fett we knew from episodes 4, 5, and 6, right? That Boba Fett, like, would definitely name his ship Slave One. Like we didn't know much about him. He seemed just like this mercenary or this bounty hunter that went out and did whatever jobs. in episode 5, we see the whole deal with Han Solo and all of that, and so like that Boba Fett definitely like. Yeah, he would call it Slave One, but like this Boba Fett we're seeing now, like we're getting some more backstory to him,
not as fitting.
Yeah, getting insight of Boba Fett because, I guess kind of not really spoiler, but kind of spoiler. Clone Wars, you see Kid Boba Fett a couple times. We get some insight into Boba Fett's life as a kid. After the death of Jango and. So, like, the Boba Fett we know now with all the backstory and stuff that we've gotten from him, like, that's not the kind of person that Boba Fett really is.
Yeah.
And so, like, now, like, with
sense.
what we know of him, like, Boba Fett wouldn't name his ship Slave One.
Yeah, it's not as fitting to him as necessarily as what we knew before.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Fennec agrees to help him as payment of her debt. For him saving her, she's like, if I help you with this, my debt to you is repaid. Boba says, if that is what you wish. And it was that day she was amazed to discover that when he was saying, as you wish, what he meant was, I love you. And even more amazing was the day she realized she truly loved him back. No, wait, sorry, wrong book. They approached...
Sorry.
What?
You saying that just made me think on this real quick, though.
What?
Because, like, Mandalorian, right? We see the father-son relationship forming between Mando and the child.
Mm-hmm.
We see that relationship kind of, forming there, and Mando definitely kind of takes up a father figure for the child. In the Bad Batch. With following the Bad Batch squad and Omega,
kind of see
you
a
get the feel
kind of thing.
Well, you get the feel of older brothers looking out for their younger sister. Is
Sure.
the kind of is the vibe that it gives off. Clone Wars TV show. It's a lot of with the clones, at least it's brothers. With Anakin and Obi-Wan, it's, again, brothers and a little bit of father-son. Anakin and Ahsoka, it's definitely like older brother, younger sister kind of vibes to them. But we've never had a potential love interest of main characters.
Now, I got to tell you,
and I'm not saying it's going to happen.
Right.
And I'm not saying I foresee it happening. But that would be one hell of a twist.
You're not wrong. I will say, in no way do I think that's the approach they're taking. I was just making a crappy Princess Bride joke, but yeah. Anyway,
I'm just saying we've seen the father son, we've seen the father daughter, we've seen the brother, we've seen the older brother younger sister. We've never seen the love interest of more main characters.
Not like this, at least. If it was to lead that way, which I don't.
And like
think
I said,
it will,
I don't foresee that happening, but it would be one hell of a twist.
Yeah, you're not wrong. Anyway, they approach Jabba's palace and scout it out. There's many guards present. Fennec spots Boba's ship as they're scouting. She says that she'll take a little closer look. They'll need one. She sends out a little probe droid that she pulls out from the butt of her gun. And it goes in and scouts out the place.
Yeah. This is another thing, too, I saw a reference, because it was this article, and it was going over just kind of some Easter eggs and some, not really theories, but kind of connections that this guy had made. And he had made that kind of connection with this little scout orb droid thing.
To the one that Darth Maul used?
Yeah.
Menace? I think we watched the same video.
Yeah, he kind of...
I watched maybe 4 or 5 of them.
I was reading an article, but yeah.
Oh, okay.
But it's very similar, because, Maul sends those out to kind of scout out the city and try and locate, Princess Amidala or Queen Amidala, whatever the heck her name is, Padme and whatnot. And, It's just kind of like another sort of recon droid, but smaller, more compact. So it's not as visible as like the scout droids that the Empire and because the Empire and the Separatists use the same model. But it's not as visible and noticeable as those. More of a stealth type droid.
Yeah.
I also kind of see the connection between this little thing and like the practice droid that we see in A New Hope that Luke trains with when he's on the Millennium Falcon with Obi-Wan.
I'm just picturing that old
a similar
plug and play
kind of style.
There was that old plug and play game that you had a lightsaber.
Yeah.
Probably my favorite game for a while. But it was one of those that you put on top of your TV and then it would sense the lightsaber. It was like,
yeah, I remember like I'd go over to your house, we'd play that all the time, and then I actually got it for Christmas one year as well.
I might still have that.
I want it.
I really hope I still have that.
I will pay you $100 for it.
If I have it, we have a deal. I'm questioning though if I even have it.
You think I'm joking?
I don't doubt that you're joking.
I'm not joking.
If I find it, and if you are 100% serious, can I at least play it first? Just a little bit?
That's acceptable. I'll allow it.
Okay. Bet. I'll take a look. I think that if I had it anywhere, it'd probably be in my closet right back there. Otherwise, probably at my parents' house. Not sure. Anyway, yeah. I hope I have it because that used to be my favorite. And actually, there used to be a couple other, those plug and play games used to be dope.
Dude, that thing was so old. It didn't even have the red, yellow, the red, yellow, white that you plug into the TV. It just had the yellow, white.
Right. Because yellow's visual. And the white and audio, red is usually audio. But yeah, it just had one.
Yeah, it was just yellow, white, not even yellow, white, red. Like, that's how old that thing is.
Yeah, and that's actually even putting it further back because it's like, it's old. It's by far old if it goes by AV input, those little things. It's like if it goes by those, it's old. If it goes by just two of them, it's extra old. No, I used to love that though. And then my aunt got, there was a couple of them. One of them was shaped like Darth Vader, and it was just a controller, and there was a couple of preset games on those, and it was pretty fun. Then there was another one. I remember getting so ridiculously angry at this game, but it was shaped like the Millennium Falcon, and it had a joystick and two buttons, and you would fight. You would fight different battles.
I remember playing that, with you.
I can't think of which one it was. I think it was the fight against Darth Vader, but I would get so angry. I could never win, and I'd get so frustrated. I kept asking my aunt if she still has those, because I can't imagine her getting rid of them, but she can't find them, and I'm kind of disappointed. I would love to go through and play those old ones again.
Yeah.
Which I could probably just buy them off of eBay, but I'd rather play the ones I used to play, like the physical, like literally the same ones. Anyway, back to the episode. So,
little droid is flying through Jabba's palace.
And Boba says goodbye to his bantha, telling it to go away, live on, be free, make babies. Fennec says, shouldn't you wait until we get your ship before you say goodbye? And he basically replies with, no. Either I get my ship or I'm dying.
So,
there's no coming back to this thing.
What are the odds that this is the same bantha that gets eaten by the crate dragon in season 2 of Mandalorian?
Oh no, I didn't even think about that. That would be hilarious.
Because in here, we've seen giant, I don't know what you call them, packs of banthas wandering the deserts. But what are the odds that that Tusken Raider group found this bantha just roaming the desert, and they took it, and they just happened to use that one to try and lure out the crate dragon in season 2?
Or better yet, it was the one that Mando just strapped.
Yeah, with the explosives.
Uh-huh. What if that was the one?
Oh,
And
God.
later on, let's say that later on Boba and Mando reunite and they're just talking and they're just telling stories. And he's just like, Mando's like, yeah, and get this. He wouldn't talk like this, but basically like, get this. There was a giant crate dragon. We strapped a bantha with just loads of explosives. I went in with this thing. I tased it, flew out, and set that thing on fire. I blew it up. Explosives everywhere. Bantha gone, obliterated. Same with the crate dragon. And Boba's just sitting there. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Hey, where'd you find that bantha? Oh, just right outside of like maybe a freaking.
We found like 4 miles out of Jabba's palace.
That's what I was gonna say,
What?
but I was trying to think of the Star Wars like measurement system to make it more accurate. But yeah, same thing. Yeah, and he's just like, no.
You just see this one lone tear come down Boba's face as he goes to put his helmet on.
He just turns away, and you just see a glistening just going right down his face, and then he's just like,
As he grabs his helmet, puts the helmet on.
Yeah.
You mother! Jumps into a fight.
They just start battling, and Mando has absolutely no idea what's going on. But anyway, Boba says his plan, which is basically get his armor, kill Bib Fortuna, and take over.
Mm-hmm.
He just lays it out, and that's exactly what we see end up happening, basically. But that's his plan in this flashback. He says that he is tired of working for idiots. He says that he was ready to leave bounty hunting behind when he was with the Tuskens. The recon droid comes back and displays a map of the palace, resembling it's kind of funny because it resembles that map set up from Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool. I liked that because I re-downloaded that game. I'm playing it later, but I saw that. That was kind of reminded me of it. But it shows an absolute ton of guards. Fennec says that they're going to need to use stealth then. They approach a sewer grate, and Fennec cuts it loose using some tool. Fun fact here, by the way. Another fun fact. The sound of Fennec cutting those bars, as they fizzle out, there's a sound. And it's just kind of like a weird like buzz / fading off. It is the exact same sound used when Anakin murked Dooku. Cut off his head, you hear the sound. Here, sizzling, hear the sound. You put them side by side, exact same sound. It's insane. It's stupid. How, like, just to even be able to notice that. But I was just like, kind of like, I don't know, it's cool. But if you put them side by side, it's the same one.
And my question here, though, is, because there's 2 Gamorreans patrolling outside of the main entrance, right, to the hangar. And that thing wasn't quiet.
No, I mean, I think
like
that it
she's
was
cutting through steel bars.
So here's the thing. I think that it was quiet enough. You know what wasn't quiet? Her kicking the bars down after it cut them.
Yeah, true.
But anyway, so they enter into this tunnel, and we see this kitchen with some things being cooked by some droids, just kind of like they're in a kitchen. There's this little one-eyed frog thing that tries to escape a boiling pot, and it just gets bonked back into it.
And one of the droids that we see, though, is it's got all the blades and stuff, right, for hands.
Oh, yeah.
And we actually see another version of that droid.
In Attack of the Clones?
Is it Attack of the Clones?
Yeah, because it's a...
I was drawing a blank on what it was in.
It's a COO cook droid, and it first appeared... It could be elsewhere, but it first appeared in the Attack of the Clones.
Is that like in the diner? Yeah, in the diner when Obi-Wan goes to talk to Dex. Yeah.
Yep.
It's back there in the kitchen chopping and cooking and stuff.
Yeah, it might be there.
And then the other droid is another one we've seen a model of it before as well.
I was thinking in the cafeteria and the clone facility, but it might have been in with the other one.
Yeah, because in the clone facility, we only see the clones go up and like grab food and go to sit down as Obi-Wan's touring through.
Right,
Camino.
but I thought behind where they were grabbing their food, you saw one. Maybe not, but you for sure, I think, see it in that restaurant.
Yeah, and in Dex Diner, yeah.
Anyway.
And then the other droid too.
Yeah.
We see, oh gosh, I remember reading about it, and I'm drawing a blank now where they were located. Did you have it written down?
This other droid is specifically EV-929.
Yeah.
That's the name of it, and then we saw it in Return of the Jedi, and it was torturing one of those little gonk droids, or whatever they're called. If you remember, there was these red-hot irons pressing down on a thing.
That wasn't this one.
Mm-hmm. Because it was in Jabba's palace.
It shouldn't have been this one. It should have been the one that we see briefing Boba and Fennec. That white one, because that is the torture droid.
I know it is, but there was another different scene.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I believe. I'm again, sometimes. Today I was seeing a bunch of different Easter eggs. I was hearing about them. And stuff from all the breakdowns, and I'm just like going back and forth and assembling it. So I could have gotten some things confused, but I'm pretty sure that this was, because I remember thinking, I'm like, where's 8D8? Like in these, like, is there going to be mentioning of him? And there was mentioning of this, and it was the torturous scene, but I think it was this one for at least that specific one.
Interesting.
But I could be wrong there. But as we are at this point right here, I think it's a good time for a sponsor break. So this episode is brought to you by EV-929's Carnival Cafe. Come enjoy a meal that will have you hopping with excitement. Enjoy a wide variety of droids and species while you eat. This Carnival Cafe has been called uncleanly and gross, but at least it's not Eowyn's stew. Plus, this cafe doesn't even serve any messy food, so there's no need for a bib. There never was. Anyway, resuming. But anyway, Fennec moves the grate in the kitchen to enter in, and as she moves it, the droids dispatch a rat catcher droid. They call it in and stuff.
Which we see in the Clone Wars movie.
Well, when this does arrive.
As a little assistant to the general dude that captures Obi-Wan, quote unquote, captures Obi-Wan in the beginning of the Clone Wars movie.
Yeah, we see these things.
And in the Clone Wars TV show, in one of the episodes we've already covered with the Blue Shadow virus.
Yes, we have seen it in what we've covered, and we do see it pretty often throughout animated shows, but I don't believe that we've seen it yet in live action. So that's kind of cool. But Evie investigates the thing, the grate, and what?
The sound, and then finds the grate.
Yes, and gets knocked down by Boba. This other one, the COO cook droid, transforms into Grievous, spinning knives around.
Pulls General Grievous.
Yeah, he's just like General Kenobi, and it's just like going like he's spinning in the same ways.
General Kenobi, and then Boba turns to him, "Hello there."
Yeah. But as it's spinning and like getting ready to attack, Fennec comes up behind it with that cutter thing that she has, and just basically knife slits, like cuts its throat, and it cuts through and decapitates it. In comes that rat catcher droid, which is one of those kangaroo droids that I get irritated at in the Clone Wars.
It's called a LEP.
Yep, it's a LEP or LEP servant droid.
Yeah.
But that's one of those. And I gotta say, I really liked it in this episode. In the Clone Wars, for some reason, they really irritate me. But I don't know. I've kind of warmed up to them, I feel like, overall. But I liked this one especially. Boba starts chasing this one around for a while before finally catching it. he tells it who he is, and it literally reaches to its chest and flips off its own off switch. So it's so scared that it kills itself.
I just have to think that that's the equivalent of it peeing its pants.
Yeah, it is. But it's so scared that it's just like, boop, I'm done. I'm off.
Yeah.
But anyway, Boba approaches where they have his ship held, and he sees the ship before 2 Gamorreans come in. They do fight them before the alarms are triggered. Then more guards come running in. Fennec fights him off. Boba enters his ship.
And I wonder too, because we see multiple different Gamorreans. I wonder if any of these ones are the 2 that
he
Boba's
ends up
like,
recruiting.
hey, yeah, that he recruits.
Or, yeah, however that works. I was kind of curious there, because we did notice that they never got killed.
Yeah, they just get knocked
they
out.
fought them and stuff, but we see them end up getting back up, and I kind of almost wonder if that's that's them, you know?
Yeah.
Like, because it almost seems intentional to show that they're still alive.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think that may be why, but I don't know.
Because, I mean, they easily could have just done, they kill these 2 Gamorreans, and then the 2 from the earlier episodes are just 2 that were there in the palace after Boba kills Bib Fortuna. You know, they easily could have just done it that way, but no, they intentionally show that these 2 Gamorreans are still alive.
Yeah. So I think it is. I think it is the same ones, but I had that question quite a bit.
And I mean, even too, like, between this show, what we've seen so far, and even in, like, The Mandalorian, like, they don't really do anything just because. Like, there's always a reason behind it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. And even this, like, it kind of did seem like they went out of their way to show the Gamorrean getting back up.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that, I think it is kind of a nod being like, yeah, that's them. That's them.
At the very least, because I don't remember if you see one or both, at the very least, it's kind of like them saying at least one of these is one of the 2, which could be both, you know?
Yeah. But Boba gets ready to he takes off in his ship, just lifting up a little bit. He starts to turn and just starts destroying a wall. One of the Gamorreans jumps up onto his ship and fights Fennec. They struggle for a little bit to escape. Some different people keep coming and trying to attack him, but eventually Fennec opens the door by shooting like a kind of a sandbag pulley
Like
type system. Yeah, counterweight. That's what I was trying to. And it opens up the door, and they were able to take off. Fennec asks how it goes, or how it runs, and Boba says it's a bit rusty. She says you should maybe look at a mechanic or whatever, and he says he does all the maintenance himself, kind of as an effort to preserve people thinking he's dead, as there are benefits to it.
Yeah. Did you notice as well, as he's trying to leave, he ends up hitting one of those speeders that we see in Return of the Jedi?
Oh, yeah, one of the barge things.
Yeah, one of the small ones, yeah.
Yeah.
Which, again, it's again a nod to Return of the Jedi.
The old films, yeah.
Yeah.
It's kind of funny. But he tells Fennec that her debt is paid, so wherever she needs to go, he'll take her. And she asks where he's going. He tells her that he's got some scores to settle. And she's just like, I'll go along for the ride. Like, I'll stick with you a little bit longer.
Yeah.
We change scenes and see the biker gang. I forget their names, but the speeder bikes. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch of them just riding across the Dune Sea. And behind them, in comes the Boba's fire spray. In comes it and just lights them up. He just does like a running swoop, just firing away and just
literally just following them as they like
them.
try and turn and whatnot. Yeah.
Yeah, he just destroys them. And then he just flies off. And he
I'm
looks
just
over
saying.
Yeah.
The way he dispatches of this speeder bike gang is so like overkill. Because he's using blasters that are used to fight other ships out in space. And at one point, he shoots a missile at them as well.
Yeah, he like
and
kills off all of them. And then the final one fires a missile at.
Yeah. It's just like, geez.
So great. But yeah.
Overkill much?
It was kind of funny too, because after it's like he destroys all of them and continues flying off, and then it's just kind of silent, and he looks over to Fennec, and she just kind of gives him a nod, like, I get it. Like, you did it. Like, good job, kind of thing. They then approach the Sarlacc, and they angle the ship down and like take a look inside of the pit. And he's looking for his armor. She basically says, she's like, it'll be dissolved in there. You know that, right? And he's just like, no, not Beskar. And this is the first instance where he, like, we assume that his armor is Beskar, but this, I believe, is the first instance of him confirming it.
Yeah.
That his armor as well is Beskar.
I don't remember if Mando comments on it or not. And oh no, actually, because he does, because when he talks to Cobb Vanth, when he sees him wearing it, he's like, you're not a Mandalorian, you're not allowed to wear that armor, that whole thing.
Right, but it's never. I guess it's assumed there that it's Beskar, but here he just confirms it.
Yeah, I think this is the first time where you actually hear it confirmed, like it is Beskar for sure, 100%.
Right. But he shines a light down into the Sarlacc, looking around for his armor. Not a thing is seen, but eventually we see a large beak lunge forward. Some tentacles grasp onto his ship and pull him down.
So did you
know? He tries shooting it. Yeah,
that beak that we see for the Sarlacc, that is its mouth. That was an afterthought by George Lucas when they were filming.
I didn't know
this
that.
Was originally going to be.
I knew that this was a nod to that.
Yeah,
by having it there.
This was originally going to be for the Sarlacc pit, just this pit with a bunch of like, essentially it looks like teeth all around down in. But then George Lucas was like, we need to add something to it. And that's when like they added in the beak and kind of like the tendrils and whatnot. But it was really just going to be like this pit out in the desert with kind of teeth and whatnot. And that was just going to be the mouth in general.
But yeah, so he tries shooting at it though, and because of the positioning of the ship and where the guns are, he just hits sand. Fennec reaches for a button, struggles a bit, eventually unbuckles, falls forward, and then jumps up and grabs it. And she releases a seismic charge, which then topples. I know. And then topples down and rolls into the Sarlacc's mouth. The beak grabs it and like swallows it. And then just freaking, we see this blue light. And then just ripples across the sand, just that, And if I can remember, I'm going to include the sound effect right here.
Yeah. My only thing with that, though, is like, how is the ship not damaged in some way?
Well, that was the other thing. I've noticed that when those things explode, they go one way.
Yeah, they go horizontal,
like, dude,
not in every direction.
If that was tipped just a little bit, it would have gone vertical and split their ship in half.
Yeah.
But I guess thinking about how something were to swallow it, it would probably go down long ways. So I guess it's inferred, but it's just like, I don't know if I would have done that. But it was pretty cool. Yeah. It was a cool effect and cool scene. But they pull away. And Boba just goes, next time, don't touch my buttons. Like, it's just like, hands off my ship. Don't do that. But we cut ahead to the next scene, and we see him climbing his way out of the Sarlacc as Fennec holds a rope. Fennec says he is burning from the acid down there.
Yeah.
And she tells him that he needs to find a Bacta tank.
And
Finally, that connection is drawn as to why he needs a Bacta tank. It's because he went back down there without his armor and, suffered some acid burns on his skin.
Yeah, because it was like when we were talking about one of the prior episodes, it's like it can't be from the Sarlacc pit when he was in there with his armor, like because he had his armor on, and now we're seeing here, it's because he was in there later on without the armor,
right?
And yeah, so.
but we then see them around a campfire again. They talk some about forming a house. Boba says he's tired of bounty hunters dying because of the idiocy of others, and he basically thinks he can run things right. He wants Fennec alongside him too because he needs muscles and brains, and she has both.
Start of the romantic relationship.
Yeah, he's just like, he says that he needs muscle and brains, and he looks over to him, and you just hear, bow, wow, wow, and whatever. Anyway, fanfic writing. That's what we need to make this podcast into. So he also offers her loyalty. He says that unlike any other contract or any other kind of employer, he's going to offer her loyalty if she works with him. He will always have her back if she has his. Fennec says that living with the Tuskens has made him soft. He says the opposite, saying you can only make it so far without a tribe. We see him, then we see a kind of another recap of him taking out Bib. He shot him in the chest. He assumes the throne. It's the post-credit scene we saw in The Mandalorian.
Mm-hmm. And if you notice, Fennec, as Boba goes to sit in the chair in this little quick flashback, she goes and grabs a jar of something from behind the throne. And if you remember back to The Mandalorian, when he stops at that one planet and when he first meets Cara Dune, and they have to take out that Imperial Walker, when they sneak into that base of the Raiders, same looking liquid.
I don't know about that. I don't know what you're referring to. I know the look of this liquid here, but I don't remember the Mando episode where you're talking about.
Yeah, you know what episode I'm referring to, though, right? When Mando first meets Cara Dune, and they take out that Imperial Walker that was taken by the Raiders.
Yeah, with the krill fishing village.
Because they sneak into the Raiders like base camp to get their attention to lure them back to the village. And while they're in there, because Cara like drowns one of them in that liquid.
Okay. Yes.
Where they're planting all the little like bombs and stuff in there to.
Right. Yeah. I remember this now.
Same liquid, at least same looking liquid. I don't know if
it looks the same.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, then Boba wakes up, and the medical droid nearby congratulates him as his healing is complete. So no more back to tank, more than likely. So there's the end to flashbacks, at least as we know them. And honestly, at this point, we're caught up, I believe. It's like we're caught up to the point of now we know what happened before.
Yeah.
We're here. So
it wouldn't surprise me if we saw
moving forward.
It wouldn't surprise me if we saw more flashbacks, but not as long of flashbacks as we have seen.
And certainly not like
this. Yeah.
But anyway, Boba asks Fennec about the mayor. She says basically we have people out there looking, but nothing. Boba gets his armor. Then we cut to Garsa's sanctuary, and we see Chrysanthemum drinking and just hatefully eyeing down some Trandoshans. And eventually he gets up, approaches, and just beats the heck out of them. He picks up one of them because they're just sitting there. They're just enjoying their time.
Yeah, they're gambling away.
They're drinking and they're having fun. And he's over there and he's just had a couple too many drinks and he's just hateful.
I love the knuckles that he has there. He's got the spikes on there and they have the electricity that ripples through the spikes.
Yeah.
Those things are so cool.
They are cool. But he just starts just beating them. And as Trandoshans are flying around from him throwing them, one of them hits near the door and we pan over and there's Boba and he's just like carrying his helmet and he looks down and he's like, and
he's
looks
just kind of watching, yeah.
Yeah. Chrysanthemum picks up one of them and just holds him there. And in comes Garsa. And she just starts talking about Chrysanthemum's reputation, basically saying, don't dismember this poor man. You're above that. You reined in so many victories during the Gladiator. I don't know exactly what she says, but she's basically just saying you have a high reputation as a just an awesome dude. Just kick butt, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't stoop to just disarming this person, literally. And she says that if he lets the Trandoshan go, she'll waive his tab, as he's racked up quite a few drinks. And she calls him here Santo, by the way. She gives him a nickname. I saw somebody commenting that this is the same nickname as Dr. Aphra in the comics refers to Chrysanthemum as, which I'm not too knowledgeable about who that is, but I'm pretty sure it's a villain. I think, I don't know, but I saw that and I looked and it's not the same name, but it's close. I don't know.
Yeah.
But anyway, also here, quick side note, the design of Garsa's earrings, if you didn't notice those look to be like a Twi'lek family heirloom. It's like designed similar, and we see that kind of explained a little bit in Rebels. But I looked into that some, and it kind of seems to be a similar thing, which is kind of cool because she's, you know, a Twi'lek.
Right.
But anyway, after she talks and says, you know, this is below, or this would be a below you, let him go. I'll pay your, like, I'll waive your tab. He just tears off the Trandoshan's arm anyway and drops a bag of credits into one of the Twi'lek's hands. Basically being like, I'll pay for it.
Gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Also, I saw somebody comment that Trandoshans can actually regrow their limbs.
I mean, they are lizard people.
Kind of like a salamander. So. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, but I didn't realize
it's like
that.
a starfish.
Yeah. But
I wonder if you tear off enough of the arm into the chest, if it'll just grow a whole new Trandoshan. Like a starfish.
Yeah. But anyway, Chrysanthemum then passes Boba heading out, and Boba tells Garsa that he basically is just like, I mean, it was worth a shot. Like you saying that, it was worth a shot, man. And she just kind of like shrugs, just being like, whatever.
And we see Max again.
Yeah, she goes, hit it, Max, confirming we knew it was Max Rebo, but confirming it is him. Boba then follows Chrysanthemum outside and says, you look like you could use a job. One of your theories coming true, he hires Chrysanthemum.
Did I call it or did I call it?
You did. You're giving me too many options there, though. I don't know what to choose. But we cut to Jabba's throne room.
Too many of my theories have been fairly accurate. And it's kind of concerning me a little bit.
Yeah. But I didn't realize this, but Jabba's throne has a Rancor head design on the two arm pieces.
I saw that here too, yeah. Right as it jumped over to it.
Yeah. But they are having a dinner with Aqualish, Klatooinians, and Trandoshans. He has gotten the three families that Bib had allied with and divided the territories amongst. He's having dinner with all of them, and Chrysanthemum stands guard. Fennec gives a speech saying why Boba Fett is in charge. Kinda. It's more of that, like, that's why, but it's also being like, this is why you should respect him kind of speech. And Boba speaks up saying that though he sits on that throne, he's not asking tribute and doesn't have plans to take their territories. He wants to make a proposal. Basically, help him fight the Pike Syndicate. Basically help me. He says that the spice trade is draining Tatooine's wealth. One Trandoshan speaks up saying that they actually make money off the spices, so why? Why would they? And the Klatooinian asks why he is like, why should you even be daimyo? You know, like they're kind of like, yeah, but it's not really our problem.
Right.
Also, why are you thinking you should be in charge? So they're questioning him. And I also want to, I keep finding fun facts. I'll say it right after you mention what you were about to say.
Well, my thing with this, though, is like, because Boba is trying to get them on his side, right? And they kind of speak up like, why should we help you? Well, like, clearly it hasn't crossed their minds to a significant point that the Trandoshans, or not the Trandoshans, sorry, the Pikes, their plan is probably to take over all of Tatooine and gain all income across Tatooine. So these families would be left out in the cold.
Right. It's
Like,
it's kind of like, and I know it has no place near Star Wars, but it's kind of like the Ents in our coverage of the Two Towers, right? Them being like, this is not our war. It's like, it's gonna affect you. It should be your war, you know?
yeah, it's like, you might not see it as your problem, but, you know, if they beat me, or in the, you know, Lord of the Rings, if the bad guys beat all of us, like, your life, and they need wood to make more armies and whatnot. In this case, you know, you're making money and the Pikes want more money. So, like,
yeah,
if they beat me or they beat us or whatever, like, they're going to come after you.
Right. And he kind of comments on this a little bit in the end of this episode. But another fun fact here is that the head Klatooinian, the one who was just like, why should you even be daimyo, is voiced by Phil Lamar. This guy is another insanely talented voice actor. He's voiced Bail Organa, Orn Free-Taa, Kit Fisto, and a ton more throughout the different Star Wars series. He was also Samurai Jack, and just a ton of different voices all throughout cartoons. It's just really cool seeing his work and stuff. But it was him. They talk some more though, saying like basically, what prevents us from killing you, like, and taking what we want? And as they say that, they just a ginormous roar. The floor shakes and a claw bursts up through the grate. And Boba slides down a little bit of food down to it, and he's like, he's hungry. Basically being like, because I'll feed you to them. I'll feed you to that Rancor. But without
So here's the
saying
thing. With Boba saying he's hungry, that
he did say
just
he, didn't he?
confirms that it's not the one I was kind of
It's
thinking
not
there's possibly a connection there.
Moochie?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's not that.
And
because
again,
he said
like,
he's hungry.
I
Yeah.
thought it'd be cool if it was, but I mean, there is like a 30-year time difference, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So, I mean, I didn't put much stock in it. I think I just thought it would have been cool if that was the same one, but...
Yeah, but at the same time, I think that if they overdid it with connections and like, callbacks and all this stuff, I feel like you kind of got to draw the line somewhere. So
yeah, exactly.
it would have been cool. I don't think that that's a major thing that would have been ruining it or too much or whatever, but
Yeah.
But yeah, and one Akalish speaks up and 8D8 translates. By the way, another kind of interesting thing I saw, this Aqualish named Garfalaquax is played by Barry Lowen. And this is not really a significant name. You wouldn't have really noticed him, but he looked he looked familiar. I'm like, where have I seen him? Turns out nothing, but he did a lot of stunt work in The Mandalorian. So it was just kind of like another, person that has worked with them before that's continuing to get roles and stuff, which is kind of cool. But the families don't want to get into a war. They say, Boba basically says, all right, then I'll fight them. It'll be my war. And I will vanquish them, and I'll make this, like, the streets safe again, so that all of you can prosper. But what I ask of you is that you remain neutral if the Pikes try to get to you and make you betray me. Just remain neutral, that's all I ask. And they agree. And then they leave. We see Fennec and Boba up top of his tower looking out as they leave. And Fennec asks Boba if he trusts them. And he basically says, no, but my deal is better. And my deal is better than any Pike is going to offer them. And I trust that they are going to act in their own self-interest.
Yeah.
Basically being like, they're going to act in their own self-interest, but I've got the best deal that they have. Like what I offered is their self-interest. So, they're probably going to, I trust that. He also comments that they do need to prepare for war. Fennec asks how much treasure they have in reserve, And Boba says that basically, like, more than enough. Money's not an issue. However, muscle is. And Fennec says that you can buy muscle if you know where to look. And as she says that, we hear once more the Mandalorian theme echo as we zoom out and cut to the credits. End episode, by the way. But yeah.
So with that,
Mm-hmm.
I have multiple theories of who we potentially could see in the next couple episodes.
Yeah. Let's have a little bit of a discussion and talk about this before we close.
So definitely foresee us seeing Mando, like the theme song there, the little tune, like that's kind of just a giveaway.
That's like an intentional, like,
yeah,
like, come on.
But I also could foresee us seeing potentially Cad Bane, because there's no canon death to Cad Bane as of right now. Yeah. There is deleted scenes that were originally going to be in Clone Wars Season 7 of a young Boba and Cad Bane dueling and Cad Bane dying. But since that was never published, it was never released, it's not canon. In Bad Batch, we see a connection with Fennec Shan and Cad Bane, so they know each other. I think earlier in the Clone Wars as well, we see Boba and Cad Bane, so they know each other.
They're in the same line of work, too.
Yeah.
Or were.
I could also see us seeing... oh, God, what's his name? You mentioned him earlier.
Bosk?
No, not Bosk.
No, not him.
No,
I think
when you're talking in the episode here, the race of people.
Oh. Race of people.
You said so-and-so's race as they're sneaking into the Jabba's palace to
Hondo.
Yeah, potentially see Hondo.
That'd be cool.
Because the last time we see Hondo is actually in Star Wars Rebels. And in Clone Wars, you find out that Hondo knew Jango Fett and was good friends with Jango Fett. And so Hondo feels kind of a responsibility to look out for Boba. So we potentially could see Hondo.
Knowing that, I'm going to say...
But I think it's more unlikely that we would see Bosk. Because when we do see Bosk and Boba in the same scene in Empire Strikes Back, at least from what I remember, it's kind of like those bounty hunters don't really care for each other.
Oh yeah, they've had
but
some
we also in Clone
conflict.
Wars you see Bosk and Boba working a job together as well. In Clone Wars.
They're kind of off and on
yeah
friends and stuff. But
as we know, he has Chrysanthemum. You can actually see Chrysanthemum in the background as that dinner was going on.
Right, he was there standing guard.
Another one that we could potentially see is Aura Singh.
That one I'm not too... Wait, that sounds familiar.
She's in the Clone Wars. She's got the antenna coming out of her head.
I don't like her, but the one with the...
Yeah, with the
big
antenna.
Old ponytail. She's super ugly.
I'm trying to think, and I don't think we have a canon death for her either. And she works with Boba, and she actually looks out for Boba ever since Jango dies. Aura Singh is the one that kind of takes Boba under her wing and looks out for him.
Right.
So potentially see him turning to her. Another one that we could see is Asajj Ventress.
I thought she had a canon death, but I don't know when it was.
She has a death in the comics.
Is that not canon, though?
And it's a good time, if I'm not mistaken, a good time after the events of Return of the Jedi.
Okay, so it just might not be yet.
And yeah, in the Clone Wars, you see her go and take on the role of a bounty hunter. So, I mean, I think out of all of them, Ventress is the least likely that we would see. I think that's...
I would agree.
Like, almost no chance, you know. I'm saying it's possible. But, yeah.
So my prediction, I would say... And just because I wanna throw one out there, even if it's stupid, I want the chance of it being right. Because you've been saying some that just end up being right. And I don't want you to be the only one to be right. I think that there is going to be a obviously it's all leading up to a final showdown.
Yeah.
This was the gathering, right? This episode was something to do with gathering. But he's gathering up people. He's starting an army. He's gathering he gathered his health back. He gathered his ship. It was a lot about getting things together. I think he's going to form an army. Obviously, we're going to expand this and there's going to be a full-out battle at the end. I think, though, that who is going to be on his side, and I think this is how it's going to end. I think the big battle is going to be him riding that Rancor into battle. I think that Chrysanthemum's going to be on his side. Obviously, Fennec. I do think that now that you say that about Hondo, I can fully see him coming in.
Yeah.
So Hondo, Mando. But the thing is, Mando's now the ruler of Mandalore, so who knows? Maybe a bunch more freaking Mandalorians. We got probably maybe Bo-Katan. I can kind of see her still being pissy, but a ton of freaking people just riding into battle and just wrecking the Pikes. I can see it, and I want it. And actually, at that same time, I don't know, Pikes, maybe partially Crimson Dawn. Yeah. I don't know. There's a bunch of different areas, but
I'm really curious too if we might see the Hutts show up as well.
I can see them maybe
on the
coming
side
back.
of the Pikes.
Maybe, or I can see them potentially being a post-credit scene, like teasing season 2, being like the battle is done, they've won. In come the Hutts. Because I really do think that their interest was, we don't want a part of this battle, but we'll come in after they kill you.
Yeah.
Kind of thing, Or after you fight it out, we'll come in and we'll fight you and get our stuff back.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't trust them. But we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But I'm excited. I do think that there's going to be a larger battle, and I'm really hoping Boba's riding that Rancor. And I think that Mando or Din Djarin, I think he's gonna, considering he is the ruler of Mandalore.
I'm just waiting for us to see
friends.
I'm just waiting for us to see the child just come jumping and flipping around like freaking Yoda in episode 2.
Yeah, he's received some training. He comes in, he puts it to the test.
See Luke and just in the background just watching. I taught him well.
Luke's just standing from a vantage point, and he's just carrying Grogu with the Force as he goes forward and just so he's just like moving him around like a freaking thing, and he's just tearing stuff up because he probably can't move very fast at this point, so he's just being carried via the Force.
Well, I'm just saying,
tearing.
We never see Yoda move very fast until the fight starts.
That's true. But anyway, I think Mando's going to come in and he's going to bring some friends. That's my main thing.
I think that'd be pretty cool, yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, this was a pretty cool episode. I really liked seeing everything that was packed into it.
Yeah.
And I'm really excited for how things are going, especially now that we came to a close with his backstory. And really, it appears that we're just moving forward from here on.
I think the only thing left in terms of kind of major points we'll see for flashbacks is how Boba tracks down Mando and finds out that Mando has his armor. I think that's the only major point that we would see.
There's a little bit of a gap there.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think that it's enough of a gap that it is small enough that I think it's not necessary to explore. Mm-hmm. But like you said, potential, if there's any more, I can see that being it.
Yeah. If there's any more major like plot points or anything like that for flashbacks, I think that's about all there is. Whether it be he finds Cobb Vanth and talks to Cobb Vanth and finds out, or he interrogates.
I would like to see that because I really like that actor.
Yeah, maybe he interrogates some
just beats the heck out of some Jawas and is like, "Where is it? Where is it?"
But no, maybe he interrogates because you see, or because Cobb talks about in Mandalorian about how he got the armor and then he, took back the town from raiders and whatnot. So maybe maybe Boba interrogates some of the surviving raiders and hears about a guy showing up in green Mandalorian armor or like painted Mandalorian armor. He's like, okay. And then he finds Cobb, and then Cobb's like, no, I gave it to this guy.
Or considering he was maybe a similar connection that the Tuskens that he had
that Cobb and
that Mando and
helped,
Cobb had helped. They seemed to be more of a civil one. Maybe they've got connections with that other tribe. Maybe because he has the robe and stuff that he does, he would be accepted and stuff, and he'd get information from them. Yeah. And then so he talks to them, and then we see him looking as Mando takes off with the armor. So maybe that was him, like he just talked to them. He's like, oh, that guy, like there he goes. Maybe. I don't know. Yeah. There's a lot of, we could theorize all day, but there's a lot of cool things that could happen. And I don't know. I'm excited. I'm really excited. I did not think, I thought I would like this show, but the first episode I was like, I like it, but I mean, I'm going to thoroughly enjoy it. I did not think I was going to be liking it this much, but I very much do like it.
Yeah.
And a lot of people are like saying that they're nerfing Boba and stuff. And I don't think so. No. I mean, obviously the first couple episodes, it's like it was slower and he wasn't as like so eager to beat people's face in. But like, dude, we just saw him freaking massacre a gang of speeder bikers, It's just like, no, he's I think he's just a little more level-headed. Like, not that he hasn't been, but like spending time with the Tuskens, it's like he's kind of found that desire to find his purpose. And I think with that, he's not as like taking on work that's going to get him into battles. He's doing things that are bettering him in pursuit of that position of being daimyo.
Yeah. I don't really have anything else for the episode.
Yeah, and I don't either.
So yeah, that concludes our coverage of episode 4 of the Book of Boba Fett.
It does.
Like always, every 1,000 downloads is a blooper reel.
Yep, and we're at right about 800. I did tally that up today.
Yeah, so we're not too far off from the next blooper reel. Once we hit our first 25 Apple reviews on Apple Podcasts, we'll do a live stream coverage of whatever we're covering at that time.
We will.
Where you guys can interact with us and ask questions, give comments, all that kind of stuff while we're covering, like I said, while we're covering whatever we're covering at the time.
Right.
But
yeah, other than that, check out the links in the one link in the description. It's kind of weird to say, but the flow page link will have all of our other links. So click on that, check it out. Check out the YouTube channel, email us, get in contact, join our Discord server, do all that. I would encourage you guys to definitely go check out that YouTube channel. I've been posting kind of fun facts and doing some work there, and I would really like to put some more effort into Evan and I both like doing some sort of content there. Eventually, I believe that when we do our live stream coverage, that's probably where we will do it. I think that's probably going to be the easiest. But other than that, check out the Patreon. If you guys want to support us, we will have an extra episode there today. Because we did some really stupid what if question, not what if, would you rather questions it was just kind of a fun little thing that we did to kind of get us into the, I suppose, talking mindset or whatever. I don't know. We were just being dumb, but if you want to hear that, check out the Patreon. Other than that, See you next time in whatever we cover. But thanks for joining, and peace out.
Peace.
Deuces.